Study the following information carefully and answer the questions given below. So when a word and number arrangement machine is given an input line of words and numbers, it arranges them following a particular rule. The following is an illustration of input and rearrangement. And important point given here is that all the numbers are 2-digit numbers. Now look at the input. The input is 32 prevent, 46 62 mishap, 54 by carefulness, 93. Okay. And this is step-by-step process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. It says step 5 is the last step of the above arrangement. Step 5 is the last step of the above arrangement as the intended arrangement is obtained. Right? As per the rules followed in the given steps, find out the appropriate steps for the given input. So there's a given input basically. As per the rules which have been followed in the above steps, step 1 to step 5, we have to find out the appropriate steps for the given input as well. Okay. So let's see how do we do it. Now understand, like I always say, the first step in a machine input output question is to look at the last step. The last step here is step 5. So first step is look at the last step and try to understand the logic behind that output. Only then it makes sense, right? So I will not worry about what the input is, directly jump to the last step, step 5. Now what is the step 5 here? 31, 44, 51, 58, 88. Utilize quality, fatigue, dubious, and whatever this word is, which I don't know how to pronounce, right? But then, what's the logic? All the numbers have been arranged at the beginning of the step. All the words have been arranged towards the end of the step. So first arrange the numbers, then arrange the words. Look at the arrangement of numbers 31, 44, 51, 58, 88. Clearly, these numbers have been arranged in ascending order. Right? So we want the numbers to be arranged in ascending order. Look at the words now. Words are utilize, quality, fatigue, dubious, and whatever this, besmirch, let's say. So U, Q, F, D, B. Clearly the words have been arranged in reverse alphabetical order. Right? The words have been arranged in the reverse alphabetical order. So that's the first understanding that we have. So whatever be the input, the desired output is to have numbers in the beginning, words at the end. The numbers have to be in ascending order and the words have to be in reverse alphabetical order. Now let's go to the input and look at the step-by-step process. Because after you know the logic, you also need to know the step-by-step process in which the output has been obtained. Okay. So input is 32 prevent, 46 62 mishap, 54 by carefulness, 93. Now this is where I get confused, or a student would get confused. Why? Because when I look at the output, numbers are 31, 44, 51, 58, 88, which are not there in the given input. The numbers in the input are all different. And not just the numbers, the words also are different. Here we have utilized, quality, fatigue, dubious, and so on. But then look at the words here, prevent, mishap, by, carefulness, and so on. So this is where the tricky part is. You got to understand what's happening in the step-by-step process. How is this? How are these numbers and the words changing here? Okay. Anyway, so let's look at what has happened from input to step 1. From input to step 1. So input has these things. Now look at what happened in step 1. We have got 92 in the first position. Now we don't know where 92 has come from. But then the closest number I can observe is 93 here, which actually is missing in the step 1. Which means 93 has been brought to the first position and it has been reduced by 1, minus 1. 93 becomes 92. Look at what happens after that. 32 is as it is. Prevent has been moved. Prevent has gone somewhere else. Right? But then we have 46, 62, mishap, 54, by, carefulness as it is. We have the new word query. Now where did this query come from? See, the word which is missing from the input is prevent. The new word which has come into picture is query. Prevent has become query. So first of all, if you see, one word and one number have been moved from input to step 1. What happened in step 1? A number and a word have been repositioned. So the number 93 was brought to the first position. The word prevent was brought to the last position. Now one may argue, why did we choose 93 and the word prevent? What is the reason? Well, clearly I see that the number 93 here is the highest number. So we are working on the highest number. Move the highest number, but reduce it by 1 before you reposition it. And prevent, if you observe, is the last word as per the alphabetic order in the first step in the input. See, A, B, C, M, P. So among the given words, the word that comes last in alphabetical order is prevent. Maybe that's why prevent has been moved. But before it was positioned in the last place, it has been changed to query. Now, how did prevent change to query? How does a complete word change? Well, don't worry about the complete word. Don't focus on the complete word. Only look at the first letter of the word. P becomes Q. P becomes Q. So in terms of word, we have taken +1. You understand? Some word which starts with the next letter. Here the word started with P, the next word has to start with Q. So query. It can be query, it can be queen, it can be quilon, it can be something that starts with Q. You're getting it? So the logic is this. You move words and numbers. In each step, a word and a number is moved. Right? So that finally we arrive at this output. While moving the numbers, reduce the number by 1. While moving the word, change, or not the word in fact, let's talk about letters. While changing the letter, take the next letter as per the alphabetical order. Now see what happens in step 1 to step 2, from step 1 to step 2. After 92, what do we have here? 61. So very clearly 62 becomes 61. Now you don't have to worry about it. 62 has become 61. Right? Because that's the next number. See, we are taking the highest number. So the next highest number is 62. 62 becomes 61. Also, you see, 92 has become 91. So any word or number that has been already moved should always get reduced. Since 92 was reduced by 1, again it will be further reduced by 1 and 62 will become 61. 62 will become 61. 32, 46, 54, by carefulness, all are same. See, query, Q has become R. Q has become R. P, Q, R. And the word mishap has been moved, M. M has been moved, M becomes N. M becomes N. You're getting it? So the point is this. Again, in each step, you word one number and one word. When you change the position of the number, you reduce it by 1. The number by 1. You increase the letter by 1. Right? Number becomes -1, letters become +1. And all the words and numbers which have already been moved also should undergo this change. It's not just that number or that letter in that step. It also happens on the previously moved numbers and previously moved letters. So if you observe, that's what is happening, right? 93 became 92, then 91, then 90, and then 89, and then 88. That's how we have arrived at 88. 61 becomes 60, and then 59, and then 58. Similarly, 54 was moved. It becomes 53, 52, 51. Then 46 was moved. 45, 44. Until the number is moved, it will remain the same. You will not change it. Only once it is moved to a new position, then you have to start reducing it by 1 in each step. Are you able to follow? Till the number is in the same position, there won't be any change. Only when the number's position is changed, it starts reducing by 1. Then you see 32 was moved only in the last step. That's why 32 has become 31. Right? So that's the process. Same thing happens with letters as well. P becomes Q, then R. It keeps moving inside. You are bringing the word towards the rightmost end always, right? So every time the earlier moved word or earlier moved letter goes inside, one step inside. So R, then it becomes S, then it becomes T, and then it becomes U. So that's how prevent has become utilized. The word prevent has eventually changed to utilize. P has become U. P, Q, R, S, T, U. Similarly, the word M or the letter M, M becomes N, O, P, Q. Similarly, if you see C, carefulness, C becomes D, E, F. Right? B, by becomes Catholic C, B becomes C, and then it becomes D. A in this step has become B in the last step. Getting it? So there's a whole lot of process here. It's not direct movement of words or numbers like we usually see. We are moving words and numbers in each of the steps. One word and one number is moved, or one letter and one number is moved. Numbers are all brought towards the beginning of the step. Words are all brought towards the end of the step. Right? The numbers are moved in such a way that we always pick up the highest number, so that eventually the highest number goes in the center position and we get the ascending order. The words are, or the letters are moved in such a way that we always pick up the last letter as per alphabetical order. So eventually that last letter comes in the middle of the step as it keeps moving inside one by in each step, and we get the reverse alphabetical order. When you are moving the numbers, reduce by 1. All the moved numbers will get reduced by 1 in each step, and all the moved words will get, all the moved letters will become the next letter in each step, only when they are moved. The point to be noted is only when you have changed the position of a word or a number, only then you get to increase or decrease it. Until it is moved, you should not change it. Now what do we have to do? We have to do the same process, step by step process on this input. What is this input? Regular 46, exercise 31, 29, must, for 54, all, 83, 91 now. You do the same step by step process and finally answer the questions. So here I've got the input for you. We can do the step by step process, then answer these questions. Which of the following pair represents extreme right and extreme left at step 6? Which element is exactly between 31 and 4 in third step of the given arrangement? Which of the following represents the penultimate step of the given input? What do you mean by penultimate? Penultimate is the last but one. One step before the ultimate step, last but one step. So if there are 7 steps, the penultimate step will be the 6th step. If there are 37 steps, the penultimate step will be 36th step. If there are 14 steps, the penultimate step will be the 13th step. Then the last question is, which element is 7th to the left of the element which is 11th from the left end of the last step? So as you can see, to answer such questions, you have to do the complete step by step process. There is no other shortcut. Okay, so let's now start working on it. What I will do here is, one smart method is, don't consider the words, just take the letters so that it becomes easy to arrange also, right? R, I'll not worry about regular, it's R, 46, then exercise is E, then 31, 29, M, F, then we have 54, we have A, 83, 91, N. You can see that there are more words and more letters and more numbers, so it will take more than 5 steps, I guess. So let's try it out. Step number 1. You're able to follow? The letters are R, E, M, F, A, N. And the numbers are 46, 31, 29, 54, 83, 91. Now you have to do the same step by step process. Step 1, step 2, step 3 and so on. Now what are the advantages of choosing only the letter? There are 2 advantages. One, anyway the word doesn't matter. Whether it is regular or, whether it's regular or anything that starts with R. Let's say road or, rage or whatever. It only depends on the first letter. So first letter is important. Second advantage is, once you have only the first letter of the word, the alignment will be very neat. The arrangement will be very neat. You should ensure that you're writing the words and numbers exactly below these in this order, so that you don't miss on anything. If there's an extra position that you get or one less position that you get, you can easily understand that something has been missed out. Right? So two advantages are there. Now what will you have to do in step 1? Remember, we want numbers in the beginning, we want words at the end. So obviously we'll be moving numbers. Which number will we move? We'll move the highest number. If you have any confusion, go back and check the illustration. Highest number was moved and the last letter was moved. Last letter meaning last letter as per the alphabetical order. And then you have to continue. So what's the highest number here? 46, 31, 29, 54, 83, 91. The highest number is 91. Right? So move 91 to the first position. But then it becomes 90. 91 becomes 90. What is the last letter as per the alphabetical order? R, E, M, F, A, N. I think the last letter is R. So R has to be brought to the last position. But remember, R will become S. Next letter, R, S. Now, if you want, what you can do is, in the next step, 90 will become 89. Then it will become 88. Then it will become 87. Properly aligned it, right? Similarly, S will become T. It will become U, and so on. If you want, you can do this also. Right? Without disturbing the positions there. You have to write it in the proper sequence so that you don't miss out on anything. Right? Anyway, the full step is required, so let's fill it up. So 90 has been moved, R has been moved, copy everything else as it is. So R has already gone there. Then we have 46, E, 31, 29, M, F, 54, A, 83. See, 91 has gone there, so don't copy 91 again, N. Now what happens in the next step? The next highest number. So after 90 has been moved, what's the next highest number? I think it is 83. So 83 comes here, it becomes 82. It becomes 82, right? 83 becomes 82. And what's the next letter? See, the letter S is already fixed. Out of the remaining letters, E, M, F, A, N. Which is the last letter? N. So N should go in the last position. But N becomes M. Sorry, M, N, O. N becomes O. The next letter as per the alphabet. Copy everything else as it is. You're able to follow. What have we moved this time? We have moved 83, which was the highest number, but when we moved it, we made it 82. The next number to be moved was n. N becomes O. Copy everything else as it is, right? So 89 is the result of 90, then we copy 46, we copy E, 31, 29, M, F, 54, A. Remember 83 and N have already been moved and S becomes T here. So see, just come a little down, let me just copy it once again. T and O in the right horizontal line. So you understood what I meant, right? You can, if you want, you can do that also. So what was it? T, O. Now step 3. So quickly do the steps now. Step 3. What happens in step 3? See, 82 will become 81, 89 will become 88. One step inside. O will become P. M, N, O, P. T will become U. Now what has to be moved? Check in step 2 what has been moved. After 83, I think 54 is the next highest number. And in terms of letters, it should be M. So 54 becomes 53. M will become N. Copy everything else as it is. So 46, E, 31, 29, F, 54 has been moved. A will come here. Then step 4. Now I'm doing it quickly because that's all it takes. After you have done the first and second step, you will know what needs to be done exactly done. You can do it really quick, right? So now 53 will become 52, 81 will become 80, 88 will become 87. Move these 3 one position inside. So U, V, P, Q, N, M, N, O. Yeah. Now what comes next? After 54, I think it should be 46. And in terms of letters, we have already moved M, right? So from the remaining letters E, F and A, F has to be moved. So 46 becomes 45. This becomes G, F, G. Copy everything else as it is. So this has gone in. Now E has to be copied as it is, 31 as it is, 29. F has gone, A comes here. Make sure one exactly write it in the same sequence so that you don't miss out on anything. You see? You'll get to know if you miss something. Then step 5. What happens in step 5? First move everything else inside. So 45 becomes 44, 52 becomes 51, 80 becomes 79, 87 becomes 86. Then move these things inside. V becomes W, Q becomes R, O becomes P, G becomes H. Now what has to be moved? See, we had moved F and 46 earlier. This time we'll move 31 and E. So 31 becomes 30, E becomes F. What are left out? I think 29 and A are left out. These two have not been moved. And finally, I think the last step will give us the output. Step 6. What do you do? First move everything inside. Right? 30 becomes 29, 44 becomes 43, 51 becomes 50, 79 becomes 78, 86 becomes 85. Move the letters inside. W becomes X, R becomes T, Q, I, G. You understand? F, G, H, I, P, Q, R, S, W, X. Now, what has to be moved? 29 and A have to be moved. 29 will become 20. 29 has already been moved. No, I think this was 30 which became 29. 29 will become 28. 29 will become 28, right? I got confused that did I move 29 already? This 30 became 29. Now 29 will become 28. A becomes B. This is the final output. Step 6 is the last step. And now to verify whether you have done it right or not, you can quickly check the logic that we had verified, right? What is the logic? The numbers have to be in the beginning in ascending order. Words have to be at the end. Letters have to be at the end in the reverse alphabetical order, right? So check the numbers 28, 29, 43, 50, 78, 85. Yes, correct. These are in all ascending order. And the letters X, S, Q, I, G, B are all in reverse alphabetical order. Now you can answer the questions very easily. Okay, now answering the questions would become very, very easy. Now don't go by the length of the explanation, please, because I was discussing it with all of you. I was not solving it myself, right? When you solve it yourself, you won't take so much of time. Let's quickly answer the questions. So the first one here, I'll have to go back and forth between the questions and the solution here. Let's look at the first one. The first question, which of the following pair represents extreme right and extreme left in step number 6? So go to step 6. Step 6, extreme left is 28, extreme right is B. Now it can be any word with B. You understand? It can be any word with B. So only look at 28 and B. 28 and B. 33, no. 29, no. Blind and 28, yes. Extreme right is B, extreme left is 28 in that sequence, right? Don't get confused that it is 28 and B. Why is it B and 28? Here he's saying extreme right. What did we have on the extreme right here? Sorry, what did we have on the extreme right here? B, right? Extreme left 28. So that's the reason it is B followed by 28, blind 28. None of this cannot be the answer. Cannot be determined. Well, what do we do in such case? Should we say cannot be determined, or I think blind and 28 can be taken as correct. Let me anyways verify and get back to you. I don't think we should say cannot be determined in such cases, because that way no question can be answered, because we will not be able to determine what the words are. See, we can only work on the first letter of the word, right? So let's stick to option C, right? Let's go to the next question. Which element is exactly between 31 and 4, 31 and F in third step? Exactly between 31 and F in third step. So this is step number 3. 31 is here and F is here. So what is exactly between 31 and F? 29. So 29 should be the answer. Option D. That's simple. Which of the following represents the penultimate step? Penultimate step here will be fifth step, because total there are 6 steps, right? When total are 6 steps, penultimate step will be the fifth step. So what is the fifth step? 30, 44. Let's match 30, 44, 51, 79, 86. 30, 44, 51, 79, 86. 30, it should start with 30. 44, 51, 79, 86. Yes, 30, 44, 51, 79, 86. Up to this is matches. Sorry. Next number is 29. Yeah, that also matches. Then look at the letters. We have A, W, R, P, H, F. A, okay. W, okay. R, okay. P, okay. H, okay, and F, which means cannot be determined, or both B and C. Answer is not D, answer should be B. This was pointed out by our friend Abhishek, and that's a very, very good pick, Abhishek. Option B is correct, C would be incorrect. Why C incorrect? See, we only looked at the first letters, which is actually the right thing to do, but one important observation is this fifth letter A here represented which word? All. It got changed to be only in sixth step, right? So A actually means all. So here A cannot become action. It should be all only here. So since it is action, this C is ruled out. Option B has to be the answer. Correct. So the answer for this question has to be option B and not D. Since 3 is wrong, both 2 and 3 cannot be correct. Okay. Option B is the answer. Option B is the correct answer. I missed that. Option B is the correct answer because both are A, but the actual word is all. Since the word did not get changed yet, you cannot change all to action. It should be all. So option B is the answer. And the last question here, which element is 7th to the left of the element which is 11th from the left end of the last step? So first of all, he is referring to the last step, right? Now, which element is 7th to the left of the element which is 11th from the left end of the last step? First of all, let us find out what is 11th from the left end. What is 11th from the left end in the last step? So 11th from the left end in the last step. See, left end is this, right? 11th from the left end. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. 11th is G. So now I can change all this to G. Right? Which element is 7th to the left of? 7th to the left of, this is anyway G. The element which is 11th on the left hand is G. So which element is 7th to the left of G in the last step? You getting it? What is G? See, we are focused on the last step. On the last step anyway, alright, of the last step. Now the element which is 11th from the left end is G. So this can be replaced with G. Now reread the question. Which element is 7th to the left of G in the last step? 7th to the left of G. 7th to the left of G. Left of G is this side, right? This side. Left of G. 7th to the left of G. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. 50. Answer has to be 50, which is option B.